Contender series delivered last night. Wow, was it a good episode. We have 5 fights to talk about, starting with Danny Sabatello. Danny Sabatello, the Italian gangster, as he likes to call himself. I mean, the guy goes into the stare down versus Taylor Moore, his opponent, and it's just like, how do you want me to finish you? I mean, like, what? How can you not get behind this guy, right? The trash talk is unbelievable. Mid-fight, trash talk. Between rounds, trash talk. In the end, when he beat him, yeah, you know, it's sportsmanship, so I like that. But, you know, this guy's a bully, right? It kind of reminded me of, like, when Khabib, you know, was talking to McGregor mid-fight and was just like, let's talk now, as he's punching him, you know, and McGregor's just like, it's just business, you know? It's just business. So, yeah, like, Danny Sabatello, really good, you know, the Italian gangster. Yo, let me get a mushroom slice, and then once I'm done with that, I'll finish you, I'll submit you. Yeah, you know, I want to see him in the UFC. Like, I think, listen, Dana White has a point, okay? He has good ground game, but he has to advance, right? He has to kind of, like, impress, you know? Like, especially this round of fights were so explosive and so great. So he kind of had to get stingy and just, like, unfortunately, Danny Sabatello just didn't cut it, you know? But I really think that when he comes back to Contender Series, like, he's made for the UFC. I already foresee the Twitter beefs, you know? He's gonna be calling out people. He's gonna have a lot of energy behind him. So next fight was Luana Pinheiro versus Stephanie Frosto. Stephanie Frosto's sister is an ex-Bellator champ, okay? So she fought the likes of Misha Tate, Jessica Penne. She's very experienced, but her sister, on the other hand, she's good. She lost a lot of weight. She's a survivor, like, she's a fighter, you know, she got through a lot of adversity in her life. Now, listen, she was wondering where she was after Luana picked her apart. You know, she was kind of like laying on the canvas for a while, you know, after that TKO or KO, however you want to see it. So, you know, she was really wondering where she was. Luana really brings it. She wants to be the next Ronda Rousey, right? She was talking in her preview all about judo, you know, and then she impresses us with his striking. Now, listen, she is in strawweight. She's in the strawweight division. I would have preferred if, you know, someone like the likes of her were in, you know, a featherweight, because featherweight is so, you know, it's crickets for female MMA, right? And also bantamweight is a little bit, you know, it's a little bit quieter. Strawweight, on the other hand, is stacked, right? We have a lot of girls in that division. Also flyweight, too, because they kind of intermingle. Now, the next fight was Mario Souza versus Mariusz Kovacevic. Okay, the Iron Pole, right? So this guy was really good. I really enjoyed watching his fights. I mean, like, honestly, like, in the preview, and I also saw some of his fights, like, in the past, and I thought that they were great, you know? He hasn't fought for 2 years, right? So for 2 years, he was saying that a lot of people were avoiding him, and a lot of people didn't want to fight him, right? So what happened was, you know, he's a southpaw, he's a finisher. He was talking about how, you know, he hits like a truck. Now listen, he got a lot of damage, okay? I understand why the judges gave it to Souza, because, man, Mariusz got a lot of damage, a lot of damage, right? With that being said, did he lose that fight? Technically, did he lose that fight? I don't think so. I don't think he lost the fight. Even if you look at the strikes, you know, he had more strikes. He was also on top of Mario Souza for the majority of the fights too, but, you know, the thing too that I didn't like was Mario Souza, he struck Mariusz after the bell, you know? And a lot of people were like, Michael Bisping was like, oh, he doesn't understand English. Listen, he understands stop, okay? Because Mark Smith, when he said stop, and then he said stop again, Mario Souza said sorry. If he knows the word sorry, he knows the word stop, okay? So maybe he was in the heat of the moment, or maybe he was just a jerk and wanted to cheat. Nonetheless, he should have got a point deducted. That could have changed the whole outcome of that, you know, who won the fight. And I just feel like I want to see more of Kovacevic. I want to see him in the UFC. I think he's a great personality, a great fighter. Yeah, and I love butchering his name too. So yeah, so the next fight, let's think. We had Mata versus, what's that guy's name? Joe Lowry versus Nicholas Mata. Yeah. So lots of new people, you know, so I'm learning about these guys. But Joe Lowry, oh my God, he blew his nose after he got his face destroyed. I mean, like, his nose was bloodied up. You know, it kind of looked like what happened with Cowboy Cerrone. Oh man, that was bad, you know. Luckily his eyes didn't swell up, but you know, it was a good fight. And you know, I think what Dana White said was spot on. Like, why didn't he finish the fight? Because the guy was hurt. Lowry was hurt. You know, he could have just finished the fight, but I guess, you know, he didn't want to hurt him, or, you know, that's what I thought too. I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, this guy has like a lot of sympathy and a lot of mercy, and he just wants to win, you know, in a merciful way. He doesn't want to like hurt him anymore and give him any more damage. But it almost cost him the contract, right? I didn't think that he should have got the contract, you know, because I love this other guy, Lowry. I think like he put so much heart into this, and I want to see him in the UFC. Like, he fought a great fight. He have no quit in him. You know, he took such a beating, and he had all that heart, and I want to see that. I want to see him in the UFC. So, yeah, then we had, let's see, oh, my favorite guy, how did I forget? Natan Levy. So he's Israeli. He's really cool. Like, he took the fight on days notice, right? On days notice. Super marketable guy, like super friendly, really good fighter. Like, Santana put him in a lot of dangerous situations, and Santana, you know, he had a lot on the line. He had a lot of motivation because his wife is taking care of him financially, and he wants to succeed in fighting, to buy her a cake shop because she's a baker and he has a child with her, and like, he had so much pressure, you know, just to make it happen. And like, I was rooting for him too. You know, I think both of these guys are great. Maybe bring Santana back, you know, You know, I think they're both great guys. Now, Levy, right? He said something funny. He was like, now that I'm in America, you know, I'm going to be called Nathan Levi instead of Natan Levy, because, you know, it's like the American pronunciation. So I thought that was fun. You know, he's great. Like, to take that fight on such short notice. Also, that's not even his weight class. That's a weight class above. So it's like he's fighting a bigger guy. I mean, you know, how can you not love it? And, you know, you don't really see a lot. I like to see diversity. You know, you see a lot of Brazil, a lot of American, a lot of Russian, you know, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, this is the first Israeli guy, so why not, you know? And like, there's another girl, she's Italian, Borello. Like, I love that. I was like, oh, great. Like, you know, because you don't see that, you know? It's like Brazil, American, Dagestan, you know, that's coming through like with truckloads of guys, of talent. So, you know, now to see like, you know, he's representing Israel, that's freaking awesome. So yeah, so let me know in the comments if you saw this episode, who was your favorite fighter and why, and what was your favorite like fight of the night? Like, do you think the decision was good, like the contracts, you know, everything that was given? Because I think it was pretty fair. I don't think you know, the Shavashkevich, he needs to get a fight again, because maybe, you know, he took such a beating. Like, even if it went to him, I don't think he should have gotten a contract, because he took so much damage. But I do want to see more of him. So let me know in the comments who your favorite fighter was out of this Contender Series episode. Thanks.